Good morning. So today we're going to be looking at setting in the fourth stall. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what setting actually means. So setting is basically talks about where a story takes place, and it also is when a story takes place. So it could be like a school or a forest or a fantasy world. It could be historical fiction. It might take place in World War II. I imagine there'll be a lot of stories written about our experience this year with COVID-19, and that would, of course, have a huge influence from setting. So setting has huge influences on the plot of a story. That is what takes place in the story, the characters, but also the mood of the story, the general feeling you get when you read a story. So this is just sort of a quick definition. So setting refers to where the action in a story takes place. Setting may be specific, like a house, a school, or a specific outdoor location, or may also be broad, which means like a big setting, like a country, a neighborhood, a city, or a nation, etc. The setting of a novel includes more specific and also general places. The setting of a novel encompasses, that means includes, a number of different but linked elements. So there's time, day or night, summer or winter, or if it's an actual historical period, there's where it takes place, the place. Is it inside or outside? Is it in the country or the city? Is it a specific town or country? Is it real or is it fictional? That means not real. Is it a specific building or outdoor location? It could be social, for example, minor characters who take little part in advancing the plot, but those presence whose presence contributes to the realism of the novel. It could be the mood, the atmosphere. So it might be an eerie story or a dangerous story or menacing setting. It might be tense. It might be threatening or a relaxing setting. Nostalgic, happy, or lighthearted. So lighthearted sort of means funny. And that's sort of what our setting in the fourth stall is like. Setting is crucial to the development of mood, theme, plot, and character. The setting of the story adds life to the problem and drives the story through to its conclusion. Think of a story you have read or a movie that you've seen and if that effectively uses setting to develop mood, plot, etc. Now imagine if that setting was transformed to be almost the opposite of what it is. How would that change the story? So you can imagine if we look at a movie, for example, like Frozen, which I think we've probably all seen. Imagine if you took the movie Frozen and moved it somewhere else. It certainly couldn't be tropical. So you couldn't move it to Florida because you're not going to have any snow. It's not going to be freezing. So it needed to be in a north cold community. And in Frozen, the main setting is Arendelle. The subsettings refer to smaller, usually more specific settings in a novel. For example, a lot in Frozen takes place in the castle, or perhaps in the forest, perhaps on the mountain. So there's different smaller settings. So when we look at fourth stall, we have different settings in fourth stall, right? So if we look at fourth stall, we have several settings. We have, of course, the main setting, which is the school. The overall setting is the school that the kids that Vince and Matt go to. But then, of course, we have the main subsetting, which of course is the fourth stall, right? So their office. So that's certainly where a lot of stuff takes place in the novel. Would be the fourth stall office. We're gonna have other smaller settings that show up. So, for example, Vince and Mac are going to spend a lot of time at each other's houses. So Vince's house is one of the subsettings, and then Mac's house is another smaller setting. So these are all different settings in the novel, and there's a lot more that you're gonna see as well as we go through the novel. So for today's question after you read chapter 4, I'm going to have you take a look at setting in the fourth stall.